Fashion and dress culture have transformed dramatically over the years, and what was once simple and straightforward has now become a complicated and often controversial topic. In the past, dressing for an occasion was easy. People didn't spend hours in front of a mirror, carefully selecting the cutest, sexiest, or trendiest outfit. Instead, they wore what they had or what was expected of them based on the occasion, their community, or cultural traditions. Fashion wasn't as much about standing out. It was about practicality, respect, and context. There was a sense of shared understanding. Everyone knew what was appropriate for weddings, funerals, workplaces, or casual outings. In the early 20th century, men wore suits almost everywhere, and women wore dresses, even for the everyday errands. By the 1950s and 60s, clothes still reflected a strong sense of occasion. People dressed up for flights, family dinners, and trips to the grocery store. The 1980s and 90s saw the birth of business casual, loosening workplace attire and signaling the first step toward prioritizing comfort over formality. The 2000s accelerated this shift thanks to celebrity culture, reality TV, and the rise of fast fashion. Today, the concept of dressing for the occasion feels almost old-fashioned. Clothing has become less about respect for the setting and more about individual expression, marking a dramatic cultural transformation. We're witnessing a massive shift in fashion culture today. Old boundaries and expectations have almost disappeared. Now, people dress entirely based on personal preferences, self-expression, or trends we've seen online. While this new era of freedom feels liberating, it has also led to confusion and controversy. Without clear guidelines, appropriate and inappropriate clothing have become subjective terms, interpreted differently depending on who you ask. Social media, particularly platforms like TikTok and Instagram, has played a major role in this shift. Influencers and celebrities frequently push bold, revealing, and unconventional fashion choices that quickly become normalized and trickle down into everyday life. Outfits that once would have been shocking, microskirts, sheer tops, braless looks, and ultra-tight clothing, are now common in places like cafes, restaurants, and even workplaces. In some cases, this normalization has gone so far that people no longer even realize when their clothing crosses social or professional boundaries. And part of why these trends spread so quickly is the rise of fast fashion. Brands like Shein, Zara, and Fashion Nova make bold, trendy clothing accessible to almost anyone, creating a wear it once mindset. And social media amplifies this effect, as people feel pressure to constantly show new outfits online. And while this makes fashion more inclusive, it also fuels a cycle where modest, practical clothing feels boring and outdated. Viral videos have highlighted this disconnect. Many people have been criticized, asked to leave establishments, or even fired from jobs because of their outfits. Yet, they're often shocked, insisting they were nothing inappropriate. For example, a woman was turned away from a job interview for wearing shorts, sparking massive online debate. Similarly, TikTok is filled with videos of young workers who lost their jobs over revealing clothing, including a woman fired just 1 hour into her shift. And these incidents demonstrate how workplace expectations, while evolving, still exist. And many employees don't even realize when they're crossing the line. And interestingly enough, this shift isn't universal. In many cultures around the world, clothing expectations remain stricter. Many Middle Eastern or Asian countries maintain strong norms, while parts of Europe balance casualness with an elevated sense of style. Think tailored jeans, blazers, and polished shoes. Globalization and social media blur these lines, creating tension when people travel or work abroad. And this trend isn't limited to the workplace. A Hilton hotel breakfast buffet made headlines when a 26-year-old woman was asked to leave for wearing pajamas and flip-flops, and ironically, she returned in an even more revealing outfit, a crop jumper and shorts, and wasn't stopped. And her viral TikTok highlighted how class perceptions and fashion trends are colliding, leaving many unsure what's actually considered inappropriate. Similarly, influencer Emmy Romeo, 5 months pregnant, was kicked out of a gym for wearing a tank top and leggings. She wasn't breaking any stated rules, but her outfit was still deemed too revealing by management. And these stories illustrate how dress codes, when applied inconsistently, can feel arbitrary and outdated. But they also show that society still has unspoken expectations, even in casual settings. And clothing doesn't just affect how others perceive us, it also shapes our own confidence, focus, and behavior. Psychologists call this unclothed cognition, and research shows that dressing more formally can help people feel more powerful, focused, and respected. Conversely, overly casual clothing may lead to lower engagement and motivation. While comfort is important, the rise of lazy fashion has blurred the line between relaxed and careless, and that can impact both how we feel and how we're perceived. Social media doesn't just influence what we wear, it creates a new kind of peer pressure. People dress for likes, shares, and views rather than the occasion itself. Bold looks, whether revealing, eccentric, or overly casual, perform well online. That's why you might see someone in a full designer outfit at a coffee shop and wearing a beachwear in an upscale restaurant. It's not about fitting the setting, but curating an aesthetic for online audiences. And as it turns out, gender also plays a role in these debates. Women often face harsher criticism for revealing outfits, while men's clothing is judged differently, often only if it is too formal or try hard. Non-binary and gender-fluid fashion has emerged as a cultural statement, breaking away from traditional dress codes entirely. Many workplaces are rewriting policies to remove gender-specific rules, focusing instead on neatness, fit, and professionalism. While this is a positive step toward inclusivity, it has also made appropriateness harder to define. And part of this debate is also generational. Older generations grew up in an era where dressing well was a sign of respect, so casual or revealing outfits felt inappropriate to them. Millennials and Gen Z, on the other hand, grew up in the internet, fast fashion, and a culture that prioritizes individuality over tradition. To younger workers, strict dress codes feel oppressive and outdated, while to older employers, relaxed dress standards feel like a lack of professionalism. So this divide is also the heart of many workplace dress controversies. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated these trends. Working from home normalized sweatpants, pajamas, and ultra-casual Zoom attire. Many workplaces never fully returned to strict office dress codes, and employees embraced the so-called work leisure, a blend of comfort and professionalism. And this shift normalized extreme casualness and contributed to the blurred boundaries we see today. And fashion trends pushed by celebrities have blurred these boundaries even further. At the Monaco F1 event, influencer Lily Chi wore a daring dress that revealed part of her buttocks. The look was labeled classless and trashy by critics, while supporters called it bold and empowering. And this reflects a bigger cultural shift in which stars like Zoe Kravitz or Katy Perry have popularized the bod cleavage as a symbol of confidence and body positivity, despite the backlash from more conservative audiences. But this isn't just about revealing clothing. The other side of the fashion debate is the growing acceptance of extreme casualness. Many people now choose to prioritize comfort over appearance entirely, stepping out in pajamas, baggy sweatpants, and unkempt outfits that give the impression of having just rolled out of bed. There is a difference between looking cozy and looking completely unbothered by social norms, but modern culture often treats the two as the same. Instead of seeing these choices as inappropriate, society has normalized them. People wear whatever feels comfortable or cute, regardless of the setting, whether it's in front of children, elderly people, or in upscale environments. And this normalization of hyper-casual dress and revealing outfits is rooted in the be-yourself mindset. Individual expression has been celebrated to the point where reading the room is often seen as oppressive. For example, women commonly wear microskirts and extremely short shorts to sit down restaurants and cafes, places where families are eating their meals. The idea of dressing with consideration for others has become almost taboo, dismissed as outdated or judgmental. Despite this push for individuality, a new kind of conformity has emerged. People feel pressure to dress casually because standing out by dressing up can feel uncomfortable or even embarrassing. Wearing a suit or a conservative dress to a casual gathering can draw as many stares today as wearing something too revealing once did. Strict dress codes may be fading, but they've been replaced by unspoken rules enforced by social media culture, where people are judged just as harshly for being overdressed as they are for being underdressed. And the confusion over dress expectations has real-world consequences. Young professionals, especially Gen Z workers, are increasingly being fired for violating unspoken workplace dress codes, as highlighted by recent news reports. These stories often spark fierce online debates, with one side arguing that companies are being outdated or discriminatory, and the other emphasizing that professionalism still matters. Viral TikTok videos show employees expressing genuine surprise when their attire is called inappropriate, suggesting that many have never been taught traditional workplace etiquette or rejected altogether. And psychologists have long noted that clothing affects not just how others perceive us, but also how we feel about ourselves. The concept of unclothed cognition suggests that dressing more formally can make people feel more confident, alert, and respected. On the other hand, overly casual clothing can lead to disengagement or even reduced productivity. Many companies are now attempting to modernize dress codes, moving away from strict or gender-specific rules and focusing instead of neatness, context, and professionalism. So what's that all about? Society is now stuck between two extremes: hyper-revealing, trend-driven outfits and ultra-casual, comfort-first fashion that sometimes borders on disregard for basic human decency. And both of these trends reflect a desire for individuality, but they've created an environment where no one knows exactly what's acceptable anymore. And remember that fashion will always evolve, but respect for context and cultural awareness shouldn't disappear entirely. Dressing well isn't about following outdated rules or silencing individuality. It's about understanding the space you're in and expressing yourself with confidence and care. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like, subscribe to my channel, leave the comment down below. Hope to see you in my next episode, and for now, bye.